Hey, welcome to the Broken for Better podcast.
We're a nonprofit organization with the purpose of equipping your marriage and strengthening your family so that your tomorrow can be better than your today.
Enjoy the episode.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Man, it feels like it's been a minute.
It has. It's been a minute.
Kurt and Denette Schaer with Broken for Better podcast. Just two best friends having conversation. Hey, and today we are going to talk fighting. Conflict resolution if you and your partner don't fight.
Yeah, or if you just have discussions.
We've had some elevated discussions.
Just a couple in 26 years.
Hey, listen, we do want to say thank you again for joining us, and we have a lot going on and really want you to be a part. Encourage you to check it out. November 17th, we have a free date night that has limited spots, so I encourage you to check that out. Fight night at the boxing gym.
That's right.
Take out all your aggressions on a bag and get fit while doing it. Speaking of get fit, we got the Fit Marriage book now on all platforms.
I know.
Authored by yours truly. It's a guide. It gives you dates. It helps you enhance your relationship, communication, intimacy. So definitely would encourage you. Check that out. Fit Marriage on all platforms.
I'm amazingly proud of you, and I don't want you to shortchange yourself. I know it's just a small guidebook, but it is like it's 7 practical steps that you can do today to enhance your marriage. And so I'm just so proud of you. Very proud.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That means a lot. Aw. How are we going to talk about fighting when we're like so in love right now?
I don't know, but we can get there in a hurry. No, I'm kidding.
You want me to bring up a couple things?
No, I'm good.
And then the golf tournament. Man, November 10th. It is right around the corner. Really encourage you to check that out. Whole sponsors. Remember, everything that you do, whether you're a whole sponsor, you send a foursome, you sponsor a whole at a higher level, all of that is continuing to lock arms, and together we get to see marriages and families change, impacting the generations behind them. So
that's right, yeah.
Just encourage you to pray about that. Lock arms any way you can. It's truly a blessing. So let's get into this.
All right.
Fighting. Okay.
Fighting.
First off,
fair.
if you could rate how we fight most of our marriage, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, 10 being amazing, where would you put our conflict resolution on the scale?
That is almost impossible to answer because it depends on the season. And that sounds like totally like me just trying to escape the question, but it's not, because when we were unhealthy, we were an 8, 9, 10 all day. When we're in our healthiest, I mean, every couple has arguments and discussions. When we're our healthiest, we could be a 2, 3, 4, So I think it just depends. I don't know that we're ever going to be a 0. I think we all can learn on how to communicate better, but definitely which season we're in.
So you flipped the scale, because I said 1 was unhealthy and not good, and 10 was solid.
Oh, sorry. Well, then reverse it. Flip it, reverse it, like Willy Wonka said. Flip that, reverse it. There we go.
No, and it's actually the perfect answer, and where I really wanted you to go, because I truly hope that you watching realize in different seasons, fighting is going to look different.
Oh, for sure.
And you're going to have seasons where you're high and you seem to can't communicate at all. And then you're going to have seasons where nothing seems to bother you and it's like water off a duck's back. It's like these, and that's okay. Like, we're trying to find this steady platform and this, really plateau to where we're not elevating and we're not going low. We're really learning what is good, but you're just going to have seasons, or different things will come up to where, man, everything's heightened to the nth degree. In our marriage coaching, that's what we're seeing a lot. We have couples that come in that they're like, hey, just encourage us. Like, let's do this. How do we get better? Like a coach, man, we have a great marriage, but this came up. What would you guys say with that? Looking from the outside in. But then we also have marriages that are walking through infidelity. They're walking through grief. They're walking through trauma. They're walking through major things. And so that tension and that fighting and the disagreement is so much more heightened because of the scenario that they're in. Mm-hmm. So be encouraged that no matter where you're at, different seasons are going to bring different intensities, but we're trying to balance that out and find a level ground.
Yeah, for sure. I think, there's that crazy cycle, right? that I know you and I learned about at the very beginning of our marriage when we were first learning the tools on how to communicate with each other. And it's like this cycle that if you don't ever stop, it just keeps spinning and building momentum, kind of like that snowball effect that just once it starts rolling downhill, it feels almost impossible to stop. It just keeps picking up more and more hurt, more and more baggage, more and more things. And so it's like stopping that crazy cycle as a couple and saying, okay, this is where we are. How do we move forward with where we are and having those real conversations? So we're going to talk about some do's and some don'ts, some things that we want to give some tools that we've learned. And that one of those first don'ts.
Learn the hard way.
We learned the hard way. Yeah, so hopefully we can save some of your hard ways. But I think one of those first don'ts is don't deny your anger. Don't deny your anger because emotions are real and they're God-given. You know, there's a disorder that, you know, you can have from birth that keeps you from feeling pain. Right. And so you would think that would be amazing because I would never feel if I got a sunburn. I would never feel if I stepped on a nail. I would never feel. But there's something that is unsafe about that because you aren't able to protect yourself from dangerous things. Yeah. And so those emotions, when they raise up, they're there for a reason.
Yeah, we actually had a student in our ministry a couple years who had that. Mm-hmm. And I remember talking to his parents about burning himself, breaking bones, and not realizing it because he had no fear of, or he had no knowledge of the pain. And I think admitting that you are angry, though it's hard, is a very needed thing. That's something that you and I have learned to do. I think early on what we did was you knew I was angry because of how I responded or how I didn't respond. I am the king. I was the king. I'm going to say I've changed.
You've gotten much better.
I was the king and notorious for just shutting down. I could go days. And you think I'm kidding. I remember in Louisiana, I'll never forget this because I literally think the Holy Spirit will never let me do this again. But I can remember in Louisiana looking at you, we had not been talking for almost a week, living in the same house with 3 kids. And I said the statement, you had said, are we ever going to talk again? Like, what are we doing? And I was so unhealthy. Right. And dealing with some of the stuff that it was just like, listen, I think like we're great roommates. I think we do really well raising the kids. That's just where we're at. Now we're married with kids. I'm in ministry, but not knowing how to process and deal with and really go. And so you picked up on the anger because I shut down. I'm huffing and puffing around the house. All of a sudden the doors start slamming a little harder and the cabinets get shut a little deeper. You know what I mean? It's like everything's kind of elevated. And it's like, oh, I sense you're not happy.
Right.
And I think one of the things that I've really come a long way and what's been so freeing for me is just to be able to look at you and go, hey, listen, right now, I'm not in a good place. I am not a happy person. Yeah. Now, whether we deal with it right then or whether we got to table that, take a little walk, spend some time with the Lord, spend some time self-reflecting, you know, they may not be dealt with right then, but it's at least, hey, I'm going to tell you I'm not in a good spot.
I think that's important to point out that out of every couple, for the most part, there usually is a fight and a flight. It's very, very rare that you have 2 people that respond the same way in conflict. And in our marriage, you have the tendency more because of maybe some of the baggage you brought in as a person and the baggage I brought in as a person. You definitely have the flight mentality, which is usually, I don't want to talk about it. Let's just table it. I don't want to go there. And I'm the fighter. I'm like, no, we're dealing with this. It's coming out. And sometimes not in the healthy way because I'm just like, we're going to fight this out. We're going to get it done. And so there's usually, kind of opposites attract in all different ways, whether it's, love languages, everything. But even in our communication when it comes to fighting, but I think it's important to not deny your anger because you have to address it. And arguing can be very beneficial and helpful. I know no one feels that way.
Oh, people are going nuts, right? But you just got thumbs down, dislikes all over.
I know. You don't feel like it's helpful, especially if it's done incorrectly. But when it's done correctly,
okay, great. I'm glad you said that.
it can be so beneficial.
I think arguing is a very strong word, and so it goes to a very negative. Probably disagreeing conversations, like where you're on one side and I'm on the other,
Yes,
and we're just
true,
not seeing
true.
eye to eye. That it can be arguing done very negatively, but done positively,
Mm-hmm.
it allows us to see your point of view, my point of view, come together. You know what I just realized?
What?
You have seen me multiple times getting real fights.
I have seen you get
Like,
real fights.
and so
Yeah, you used to be
you
likes
used
to fight
tell
guy.
me like, stop fighting, and now you don't like that I'm the fight guy. Well, I used to be the fight guy, and you didn't like that either. What do you want me to be?
No, you don't like to. I'm not talking about like physically fighting. That was like you with other guys, like pre-Jesus. You used to like to lay hands on people in a different way, which was so unhealthy. No, and thank
Although
God,
it was in a church softball league.
which is
one of them.
amazing because that's such a great testimony.
It was a Pentecostal game.
Probably was. But anyways, like I was saying, you've never laid your hands on me. Thank you for that,
Negative.
because that would be.
Well, I have.
Okay, stop. That's not what this episode's about. This is not that episode. And he's meaning.
Can we run off track?
He's meaning intimately, y'all. Just to clarify, because I don't want people sending me DMs saying, "Are you okay? Do you need help?"
Oh yeah,
I'm fine.
I
I'm
would
safe.
never. Yes, 100%.
No, but there's usually two different types of people, and so I think it's very good to know that healthy disagreements, healthy arguments can be beneficial in the marriage, because God put you two together with different opinions for a purpose. I see things in you that you don't see in you. You see things in me that I'll never see in myself. And so we better each other by doing, by having healthy disagreements. And
Really good.
I think one thing that we learned very early on that I don't always do amazing, but I try my best, is to correct in private and champion in public. And sometimes my mouth does a really good job. My face, on the other hand, still has to catch up with my mouth, because my face will be like, really? Is that really what happened? So, but that's a very, very beneficial tool in our marriage, to, even if there's a correction that I feel like needs to be made. Maybe you said something to me that hurt my feelings in front of someone else. Or I might have said something to you that was belittling to you in an environment with other people that I didn't even maybe intend to be or realize it. Correcting me in public literally kind of just deflates the other person.
And I think from a guy's point of view, my number one thing is like honor and respect. Those are, that is my every need of a man, to feel respected and to feel honored.
Yeah.
And I think many times when we get in arguments, it's because in the way it's being delivered to me, it's not done in an honorable and respectful way. It's been done in like dishonorable or almost disrespectful, right? You're not. You failed again. You didn't. Those are all things that chip away at honor. And so I have a tough time receiving that. And you have done an amazing job now to really, you call out what you see. And you said this before, you're going to call out the king or call out the fool. You do an amazing job now at Jedi mind tricking me. It going like,
What?
I know what I know about you is this. What I just saw from you was this. Those two don't line up. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I know what's inside of you, and so I'm really upset with what I saw come out of you.
Right.
What that does is it builds me up to go, no, I know that you are this person. So why am I not aligning with who you are? Just the way you address that is truly, truly good. So thank you for doing that. Keep doing that, because it really calls out the best in me.
I heard this amazing analogy, and it just like really hit home with me. And it's the analogy of customer service. If you take something back to, let's say, JCPenney's, right? Just recently we shopped at JCPenney's. I took back a shirt.
Shout out to JCPenney's.
Shout out to JCPenney's.
They had a
Y'all
make
have
it
some
count sign.
Amazing coupons. And yeah, y'all had a make it count sign. It was amazing. Anyways, you take something back to JCPenney's with the receipt, they're taking it back, right? Walmart's the same way. They're taking it back. No questions asked. They're going to take it back. They're going to put it in the back. They don't even look at it. It's just like amazing customer service. Have a great day. You know what? Here's another coupon.
JCPenney's does that?
Yes, JCPenney's does. As long
Why
as
do
you
I still have that shirt in the bag?
because I didn't have the receipt. Because you have to have the receipt.
Oh, Walmart, you don't even need a receipt.
I know. You don't even need a receipt.
Home Depot too, dog. Shout out to Home Depot.
But
Let's just shout out all the good customers.
let me tell you what. If you go to take something back to a couple stores.
Let's shout them out.
I don't want to put anybody down. But a couple stores, they have such a strict policy, and you could take it back and they'll be looking at it, wanting to know, did you wear this? Did you whatever? And I know there's some people that do that. That's not me. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking something back after I wore it. If you do that, you do.
You want to shout out those people too?
I'm not shouting those out. I've got a couple friends that I know do that. I love you still, but I'm not doing that. That to me, I'm not doing it. If I'm going to take it back and I'm going to tell you the truth, like this is an issue. But do you know what I do? I tend to go back to those stores that respond to me well. I go back to those stores that I know my complaints are going to be handled with grace. I'm not going to go back to those other places that I know my complaint or my issue isn't going to be heard.
So good.
And our relationship with our spouse should be similar. Like if I have a complaint, it's different than me coming and accusing you. But if I bring a complaint to you, you should be so concerned about my heart and vice versa that it's a safe place for me to say, hey, this hurts my heart. Can I bring this to you? And you receive it and take it and say, man, yeah, no questions asked. Like I want to do better to meet that need of yours. And that's a total, that transaction, we don't always do well, but it's important to do well.
I think where I fail in that transaction, even hearing you say this, if I'm honest, when I'm not in a healthy season, I don't receive very healthy. All criticism seems terrible if I'm not in the healthiest season. And so I think the way you deliver it is extremely good because it takes that away. But it also challenges me to go, hey, wait, why did that sit sideways? Is there something deeper inside of me that I couldn't take that? Like, why all of a sudden did that set me sideways? Oh, I'm upset about this, or I'm struggling with this, or I had a hard time in this. And because she's the closest thing to me, you just got the wrath of everything I was already feeling inside.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think it's really good. And it comes down to, I think, what we're going to talk about in the next couple of weeks. And I want to dig in a little further in that, but I don't want to get there just
the little teaser.
Yet. I know.
A little teaser.
I know, a little teaser.
I like that.
A little teaser.
So what we want to do is really give you a tool this week, like something you can tangibly do. And I would just encourage you, especially fellas, but even ladies, like learn to express well. Try one time this week to express your emotions when you're feeling them in that moment. Like just try hey, I want you to know right now I'm feeling this way. Just try it. You may have done it 100 times. You may have never done it, but try the tool and see if it doesn't open up more communication, or it doesn't at least allow you to go, hey, now's not the moment because I'm feeling this right now.
So, yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. And we can't wait to get into more about fighting fair and fight night and just learning good communication skills and learning how to love our spouse as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Once again, we want to say thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Our true desire is this has brought value to you, your marriage, and or your family. The fact is, we can't do what we do without the support of you. By your liking, subscribing, and sharing this content, it reaches to those that are beyond our reach. Also, we would encourage you, check out our website, brokenforbetter.com. Become a monthly supporter, because by you supporting us, you too are making a difference in marriages.
We want to stay connected with you. So follow us on all the different social media platforms at Broken for Better, because on those different platforms, we're going to be giving tools, we're going to have events, all the different ways that we can stay connected, and we want to be connected.
One of the terms that we've adopted is if your marriage will visit a fitness center, you too can avoid a trauma center. We truly believe in marriage coaching. It doesn't matter what season of life you're in, whether your marriage is a 10 or whether your marriage is a 1. We offer marriage coaching to take it to another level.
Thank you for joining us.